Amethyst, turn into a chair. I need to sit down.
Oh,
Amazing.
Pearl. Oh, Pearl.
Turn into a chair. I need to sit down.
This is how everyone felt after the end of the previous episode.
Yes, exactly. So this is Adventures in Light Distortion. After Greg was kidnapped, Guarded and Steven go back to Amethyst and Pearl to explain what happened, and they decide to go to space with the Ruby ship. Paradox tries to configure the ship in order to help them, but Steven more or less makes them rush into space, because someone was kidnapped, they have to go right now. Fair enough. So Steven, Garnet, Pearl, and Amethyst end up going to the Ruby ship into space. At first they run into some asteroids, and they run into the rubies.
Oh my god, I screeched when I saw that the rubies are still floating around out there.
Yeah. Sorry, rubies. We should really do something about them.
And Garnet's just like, we'll do something with them on the way back.
Yeah. But I that's great. That's just, I love that. I love that the writers realized that they just left the rubies in space to float forever. And they're just like, eh.
Well, we'll sort it out later.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there's a lot of good call. Again, this is another episode where you're like, hey, that's relevant again. Woo!
Though it is convenient that they don't run into Eyeball. They just ran into three of the others.
Yeah. Well, I think Eyeball wound up a lot further out.
True. Yeah, anyway, they quickly realize that it's going to take 70 years to reach the place. So Steven tries to press some buttons to try to figure out a way to do some sort of warp drive or something similar. And they end up going quicker, but it ends up starting to mess with the shape and size of the crystal gems. And shenanigans and wackiness ensue.
Yeah, shenanigans is probably the best word for it.
Yes.
It's just the crystal gems, physical, hard light forms, get really messed up while they're doing this.
Yeah. They try to change, their shape are literally based on rubies. So they try to change the shapes into being based on other gems, including one that I don't think we've actually seen before. Apparently they're tiny gems. Super tiny.
I want to know what the tiny gems are! I have no idea, but I want to know.
Yes.
And they also get made diamond-sized at one point.
Yeah, that was cool. They try to switch Steven tries to do manual changes to the thing, but it kind of doesn't help at all. And eventually, he ends up really activating warp drive to the point that they go faster than light. And somehow Steven survived that. Huh.
Yeah, for what it was doing to all their hard light forms, surely it should have been doing something to squishy organic matter that Steven's theoretically mostly made of.
Yeah. Steven desperately tries to get to the control thing to stop it, but it's going way too fast. He's just stuck in his seat, more or less. And then he eventually is able to stop it right when they're near the zoo, basically. Which is a funny thing to say out of context.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that at the beginning of this episode. They know where Blue Diamond's taking Greg, and it's Pink Diamond's Insidious Human Zoo.
I hope that's the official title.
Oh, I hope so.
Yes. Even they know they're insidious and just put that in the title of it. I hope there's like a little banner with letters that a 10-year-old would do. Welcome to Pink Diamond's Insidious Human Zoo.
We're very proud of our Insidious Human Zoo.
Yes. But yeah, they finally end up there and everything's normal again, and they're about to head to the human zoo while the episode ends. Cliffhangers!
They're getting damn good at it. It's probably a good thing they release a bunch in a group now that they're getting this good at cliffhangers.
Yes. This episode was probably not as important as the last one.
There were a lot of fun shenanigans in it with the ship, but yeah, I am genuinely curious how Steven wasn't turned into a thin paste on the wall.
Yes.
When, the ship's warp drive was messing so much with hard light.
Yeah.
I was very excited at first to think that maybe they're going to Homeworld to find Greg. No, they're going to the Insidious Human Zoo, but that's also pretty sinister. And 5,000 years ago, a ton of humans were put there by Pink Diamond, who... Now I want to know more about Pink Diamond. Did she collect, people from it, or organic beings from every world they destroyed, or did she just get particularly interested in humans?
Maybe this is like her equivalent to like collecting Pokemon cards.
Maybe. I don't know. I think it's sweet that they got Peridot to check out the ship for them, because also, the other three gems haven't been around Homeworld Tech for 5,000 years. I'm not sure if they're qualified to fly this thing.
Probably not.
Whereas Peridot knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Mostly. I also just love all, the weird science, completely sci-fi shit she's spouting while wandering around the ship. Like the drive that warps reality.
Yep.
At one point, Pearl's just like, oh, it's a misname for that drive. It doesn't bend reality. It probably just alters the definition of speed by warping space-time.
Of course.
Oh my god, Pearl. Oh my god.
I think they said something about Steven losing his bones, and then Amethyst is just like, bones are cool, but they're better in someone's body. And I forget exactly how the conversation goes, but Garnet's just like, Don't you have bones at your place? Amethyst's like, yeah, but those are my bones. And I'm pretty sure that's true. I remember there being just like a skeleton head at some point in her
Yeah,
collection.
it's like among the random shit that Amethyst has in her room full of garbage is just some bones. As
course.
you do, I guess. I also love how Steven's like, so Lapis and Peridot, you have to protect Beach City while we're gone, and Lapis just thumbs up.
Yep.
Sure. Why not?
Part of me wonders if they'll come back and just everything will just be ruined somehow.
Everything will be destroyed, and Lapis will be just somewhere like, we tried.
Yes.
And then, as soon as they're in space, Pearl is like, well, it should take us only 70 human years. It's like, oh, Pearl, you haven't got the hang of mortality.
You won't live to be 110. Oh, maybe he'll survive to 109?
I love how Steven's specific argument is, my dad's not healthy enough to live that long. Oh. Also, I feel like Pearl's nose was off-model in those shots when she was talking to Steven. I don't know why. Is I the only one who felt like it was a bit off-model?
Maybe, I don't know. I will say, I just loved seeing Pearl being ruby-sized. Something about that was amazing to watch.
That was adorable. All of them getting squished down to ruby size was adorable.
Yes. And then Amethyst turns into her Puma form, and she's just like, ooh, Puma Cub.
When they first transform, Amethyst's like, whoa, please tell me this lasts forever. And then when Garnet and Pearl are freaking out, Amethyst's just like, who cares? It's funny. Like, I love Amethyst so truly.
Yes.
She's so wonderful. I also love Steven's argument before, hitting the warp, and they do have legitimate concerns about what it's going to do to them, and Steven's just like, if being a pancake means saving my dad, then bring on the syrup. Like, holy shit, kiddo. And also, I assume Steven was fine because he's already fairly small and ruby-sized. But yeah, then they get turned into a bunch of other different sizes, and Steven isn't affected, so I don't know. I just don't.
It's very weird.
I demand to know what the tiny, tiny, tiny gems are. God, I want to see them.
And then we get to the run at the end, when they go full warp drive, and then, I did love the effect, where, literally, there was almost like a sort of, I'm not even sure what you'd call it, like a double vision effect, almost.
I was going to say, it looked kind of like if you're watching a 3D movie and then you take the 3D glasses off.
Kind of, yeah. That's actually perfect.
I mean, it was very trippy, and I'll be honest, I did start tearing up during this bit when Steven's just breaking down and he's realising there's no fixing this, it's all my fault, when he's, just starting to panic, and then he just breaks down crying, repeatedly going, I want my dad. I just want my dad. Oh, and he's crying and I'm crying.
Everyone's crying.
Poor baby.
Hashtag Steven Universe.
They're crying and I'm crying. Best description of Steven Universe.
Yes. First of all, I do find it interesting that only after he cried was when he was able to stop it. So, that was a bit interesting. I wonder if that means anything.
Maybe. Because, his tears don't have healing powers, but maybe they still do something.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was just a moment where, he built up the courage to try one last time and finally managed it.
Yeah. I will say, though, while this crying scene was effective, I feel like I'm starting to become just a bit numb to them at this point. Like,
you're getting numb to Steven Universe attacking you emotionally.
kind of. Which was just like, how many times can they feel sad about everything? No joke, I think like almost every single episode of this season has had someone crying. At least it feels like it.
Maybe.
Seriously, Onion cried in an episode.
I mean, it's never been out of place, so... You know, except for Steven's surprise crying and not knowing why in the previous episode, but then we find out why. Sort of, a little bit. Still not sure how he's channeling Blue Diamond's emotions.
It's just that, like, I don't know, I feel like they're kind of overdoing it a bit at this point. This was just a wacky episode in the middle of it. Like, we could save some of this for later, okay?
No, but I mean, the whole episode, Steven has been angry and upset about what happened to his dad. So it just, I don't know, it didn't feel out of place to me.
Yeah, it's not even that. It just has happened so often.
Actually, which is one thing that I like about this show, is that the hero is a teenage boy who cries a lot, who gets emotional about things, and none of the other characters ever mock him for crying and getting emotional about things. I think that's one thing they can't overdo enough, honestly.
I mean, that's kind of true. I think it's more the thing that, like, at some point, when it becomes a once-an-episode thing, it's just, I can't feel sad about it every single episode. There's a limit.
I think we're going to have to split on this one, because I feel it, once an episode, I think, implies that it's formulaic, and again, it hasn't been happening just for the sake of it's a running joke. It's always been emotionally relevant to the episode.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying I'm becoming numb to it. It's actually kind of like The Walking Dead in a way.
Yeah.
Because, like, in The Walking Dead, yes, things suck and bad things happen. At some point, it's too much, and you can't really care anymore.
Yeah, they have no variance, and, like, it's blatantly obvious who the immortal characters are.
Well, there's that.
It's just, yeah, Walking Dead has gotten formulaic. And it doesn't have any positive emotion to any part of it, honestly. I'm especially just not slagging Henry Dean Morgan in any way, but I have been bored with Negan for like 8 episodes now. You're just like, we all know you're going to do something horrible at the end of the speech, so please hurry up and do it. Like, I'm sure in better cases it could be that it's really tense because you know something horrible's coming. But it's just boring with Negan. It's so boring.
Yeah.
This is our sideline of us bitching about a completely different show.
I guess. I'm not even sure I have, like, proper explanation. Like, I think a lot of it is the fact that a lot of the sad scenes in Steven Universe are so effective that even if you do one that's good is not good enough. So I'm just like, yeah, but this is sad. But I've seen stuff that I felt was literally 50 times sadder. So, maybe you. I think I've said before that Steven Universe is sometimes too good for its own good.
Yeah, but this is very much just a connector episode between this one and the next ones.
Yes, it was basically they had a wacky idea for an episode between doing plot stuff. That's what I got out of it.
And then in the end we get our first look at the insidious human zoo, which is very pink, which is fair enough, and appears to have a fuck-off giant sword stuck in the top of it, which is also awesome.
Yes.
Like, this just appears to be the pink diamond aesthetic, pink and swords, which I appreciate.
Pink and swords.
I appreciate that combination greatly.
Yes.